Live, so.
All right, cool. As soon as Pat gets back, we'll fire this up. Sorry, Greg. Just a couple minutes early. Rob, you want to mute that TV there, buddy?
That's Pat.
Yeah, Pat. Well, yeah, mute that TV. There you go.
I got it. Yeah.
We'll play off hockey in the background. I'm surprised I don't hear that goddamn iPhone commercial.
Yeah, I love that iPhone
Purple
commercial.
phone. It drives me crazy.
Did we ever find out how much they paid for that? I bet
know.
you we can find that on YouTube.
You ready to roll, boys?
We are. Rob, go ahead.
We're three brothers from a small town in the east coast of Canada.
Golf has been in our blood since Caddyshack was at the drive-in.
We've dedicated our lives to this game.
Ride free with them high falcons in the sun. Ride the pebble on down that old 55 in the motor song back over at home. In the AM radar love's coming on strong. It's getting you along. It's going in a go. Easy, won't you take me in? Some of that old-fashioned California sin. Whoa, there's the rules. I don't make them. Give me the dice. Watch me shake them. If I give myself to you, well, you gotta give yourself to me. There's the rules.
Hello, welcome back to the Blue Line Hockey Club, folks. We've got another exciting episode of the Blue Line Hockey Club. We got episode 121 tonight. All the usual suspects sitting in the house with us tonight. We have our producer, Patrick Uncle Lordy Sullivan. What's up, Patrick?
Aloha.
And our nerd on staff, our IT guy, Robbie Pete Peters. What's up, Pete?
Hey, how you mom and them?
And your host of the Blue Line Hockey Club tonight, Mark the Doctor Morley.
Oh, doctor.
Hey, fellas, we got a very special guest sitting in with us tonight, a guy from our hometown, legend in the hockey world in Canton, New York. I like the UMASS over there. We've got the UMASS sweatshirt on here. We got the head coach from UMASS Amherst, Greg Carvel. What's up, Carvel?
Hey,
sorry, Coach.
we're all Canton guys. Two of us are UMass guys too.
That's
Right.
I love that shit.
True.
I'm a little hot here in Florida with a hoodie on, but I had to represent it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Congratulations, Greg. Huge.
Thank you. It was things lined up for us this year. By the end of the year, it just felt like we were going to win everything. We won our last 14 games without a loss. And when we got in the playoffs, the kids were just dialed in. And once we got by Duluth, there's nothing going to stop those kids.
No. Yeah, you guys we watched a little bit, obviously the 3-4 of us guys with you being behind the bench and just watching guys, keep going and going and going. We're like, oh my God, he's going to do it. And you did it. It was so awesome. We were celebrating. I was actually with Mark in Florida when you won. We were, going crazy when you guys won. And it was pretty sweet. Are you going to bring that trophy and set it right on mom and dad's dinner table in front of Sergi's Pizza or what?
No, you guys asked me to bring it tonight. So
let's see it.
It's here.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's some nice hardware. That thing pretty heavy. Looks a little heavy.
It's about 30 pounds.
Looks heavy, yes.
You got to be probably double-digit age to pick it up. Pretty heavy.
I bet it felt a lot lighter the day that you won it. I mean, that was pretty cool. I saw the excitement
I was
in
whipping it
your
around
eyes.
in one hand. It didn't weigh anything the night we won it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like you had some family there, even with COVID. Didn't you have some family show up?
Yeah, I hadn't seen my parents in a long time, and they came down. And my brother-in-law, you guys know Randy Semensky, and my sister Mary Beth. They came down with their kids, so they were also there 2 years ago. Randy and his wife and their kids when we were in Buffalo at the Frozen Four. So it felt like old times, good times.
Yeah,
for sure. So what was the atmosphere in Amherst when you brought back that hardware?
It was unique. You play the whole season without any fans. So You get used to it. The first game was up really eerie. You're playing, the intensity was there, and it felt like on the ice everything was normal, but there's nobody in the stands. So we get to the Hockey East Championship game, and there were maybe like 10 extra people in the stands, and it kind of freaked us out. It was like, what are they doing here? Like literally, it was the refs, it was the guys in the box, and the camera operators. And most of our games are televised, and then we were told that the president of the state university is coming, and the chancellor, and we're like, what the hell? Like, we couldn't get parents in here all year, and like now we're gonna let in, just because of their rank. But those extra people were kind of weird. Then we got to the regionals, and they let a couple hundred people in the regionals, which was great. Which was weird though, because we won, the kids still couldn't interact with their parents. So after the game, the kids were on the ice, their parents were on the other side of the glass, and they're taking photos with their parents on the other side of the glass. It's kind of sad.
It sucks.
The teams that lost, they'd be outside hugging parents because they didn't care. Nobody cared if they got COVID anymore. And then when we got to Pittsburgh, I think there was 5,000 or 6,000 people in the rink. So it was enough that there was some energy. And of course, when we won, the UMass fans went crazy, and it was enough to feel the excitement. But when we got back to campus, we were driving in on Route 9, and
Route 9,
and we had a police escort, and lots of cars pulled over, people cheering. But then we pulled into campus by the Mullins Center, and there was probably 2,000 students there. And it was the first time all year that these kids, and me too, we felt cheering for us from, our fans and our students. And it was a little overwhelming because you didn't have that all year. And we'll get 3,000 or 4,000 students at a home game when they're on campus. And it was a little bit emotional. We kind of looked around at each other and like, wow, we've forgotten what it feels like to be cheered for. And it was a great way to finish the season. But the sad thing was that these kids, they'd been there for 8 months, and they all wanted to go home. So we said, you guys have to stay for a week. And we tried to get together a couple times, but we never really got to celebrate as a team properly. Believe me, I know they did. I know the kids went out. But then we had a couple guys sign to go to the NHL right away, and so now I'm losing staff. So that's the downside of success is you lose players and staff. But I'd rather win it all and lose some players than not win it and keep everybody forever.
Talk about sorry, Mark. Just talk about losing staff. Like this year had to be tough, Greg. Like losing players with COVID. It kind of reminded me of like an AHL coach. Players going up, coming down, and it's every game. It's almost like trying to get a men's league game going. What was that like? And I know your goalie was out, your captain was out. It was kind of like you just didn't know what the hell was going on.
Well, that was the only game all year that we had to deal with COVID. We did well this year because we never really got shut down because of COVID within our team. No player on our team got COVID until right before the Frozen Four, and it was one player, and he was the biggest kid on our team, big strong fourth liner, but he lived with Carson Jasevich, who you guys might remember from St. Lawrence, who led our team in goals, and our starting goalie, who had basically a 950 save percentage, and then our third string goalie. So all four of those guys were out for the semifinal game, which was the hardest game of the year against the defending champion Duluth. But then we were able to get the goalie and Carson back for the championship game.
Yeah, those were exciting games, man. I was like, even the semifinals, that was a wild game too. I had a lot of fun watching those games. I mean, it was kind of weird, like you say, with nobody in the stands, watching from home. They weren't really pumping in the crowd noise like some of the pro teams are doing. So it was definitely you heard everything. We probably could hear you yelling on the bench.
Oh yeah.
You don't yell. Greg doesn't yell.
Probably one of those things you take for granted, right?
there's one thing I do well is yell, and I swear too. So many times this year, like I'd come home, my kids would be like, "Dad, you gotta stop yelling!" Like it's so clear. And then beginning of the year, the head of officials called me. He's like, "Stop yelling at the refs. Like it's everybody hears it. Just stop." He's like, "All right, you're right. I'll stop doing that."
Yeah, usually the fan noise will, drown you out a little bit.
Down a little bit.
But yeah, usually the refs never hear me because of the fan noise, but
Yeah.
different year.
Nice. So, Greg, what's the your magic trick? The culture that you've made at UMass is just bringing recruits in. I know your recruiting staff's obviously working hard, but just what you're doing there in the last few years is unprecedented, and it's awesome. I love to see it. Hockey East champs.
Yeah, the parity in college hockey is so close. The number one team in the country against the last 60th, it's still going to be a close game. There's no easy games. So, to me, the margin of victory is so small, and we try to make that margin culture. And I think we do a really good job of selling it to our players. And there's so many levels, layers to it. It's hard for me to just describe, to sum it up quickly. But the best way I can do it is we get really good quality kids. A lot of them have a chip on their shoulder, and then we hold them to really high standards. And it's every part of their life. We have the highest GPA of any athletic team on campus at UMass. We do more community service. We coach hard. It's not easy playing in our program. It's but we balance that with caring about the kids, and so we do a lot to create, build relationships with them away from the rink, at the rink. But we coach hard. If there's a standard of play, and if you can't play there, you're going to hear about it, and we're hard on them. And you hear it all the time. It's many years later when athletes say, "Boy, that coach was really hard on me, but looking back, that's what I needed." And believe me, there's kids on our team. We won a national championship. I bet I could put 5 of them on here and say, "Hey, how was your year?" And they'd be like, "It was shit for about a month when coach was up my ass." But like Phil Laganoff was the kid who scored that shorthanded breakaway goal in the national championship game. He sat in the stands a number of games this year because we weren't happy with him, and we were demanding. So if you're going to be demanding, you're going to be hard. You better balance that. The kid needs to know, all right, he's hard on me, but I know it's not personal. This is what he expects from me. I know he cares about me. And too many coaches go to one extreme or not. They don't balance it well enough. They want to be friends with you and they don't want to upset you. Other coaches are hard and they're pricks, and they don't balance that with that, showing the kids that they care about them. So I think we do a pretty good job of doing that, but we also we don't bring in entitled kids. Entitled kids won't last in our program because it gets pretty uncomfortable pretty quick.
I like that philosophy.
Yeah, I do too. That's what I like, that perfect balance. Randy Brown, but kind of
The hard balance.
Yeah. What's a typical practice? Do you have like skate days, no pucks? What's some of your practices? Do you have like one day where it's just no one likes you at all?
No. Every day is the same. We never go over an hour, and as soon as I step on the ice, it's absolute business. We don't do flow drills. There's no feel good. Every single drill we do is for a purpose, and we do it hard, and you better be ready to go. It's what I ask the freshmen every year after they've been on campus for a little while. I'm like, what are the older kids telling you? They're like, be ready for practice. Good. Perfect. So we practice hard most every day. We battle a lot, and our kids tell us that practices are harder than the games. So we try to be a hard physical team. We try to you can play anyway. We got good speed. We'll play hard, play with some skill. we're just a very well prepared team.
Nice.
So, what's the outlook for next season with some guys? Did any guys leave early to the NHL, or were they seniors?
Zach Jones is gone, right?
Yeah, Zach Jones went directly to the Rangers, played the end of the year. He was a sophomore. Mark Delgaizo was a junior. He's a Nashville draft pick. He signed with Nashville. Jake Gaudette was a senior. He signed with Columbus's American League team, and Carson Jusevich signed with Chicago's American League team. And then I believe our goaltender will be signing as well. So I think that's
the tough part about winning a national championship, huh?
He's rebuilding again.
yeah, but
Recruiting gets easier.
Recruiting gets easier.
Yeah, that's right.
For sure. Just you talk about the Hockey East and BU, BC, some of the powerhouses in that conference for so many years. And when I was at UMass, the hockey team was pretty good. I mean, they were winning some games, but they were never close to winning Hockey East. They were always kind of the middle of the pack and stuff like that. And building and getting better, but they just could never get past the powerhouses in the Hockey East. And it seems like that's something they've been able to do. And what a feat for UMass Amherst to beat these teams in the Hockey East.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome. Love it.
Everybody likes to see a new kid on the block. The Eagles and the Terriers. They're the favorites every year, and so if somebody else wins, everybody's excited just to see an underdog win the title once in a while.
Sure.
I was going to say with the younger NHL, it's got to be tempting to hear some of the offers that are being tossed around for you, or no?
I'm sorry, say that again.
With the younger NHL, the younger NHL, some of the offers from the teams or coaching got to be interesting and tempting for you.
I haven't received any, so there's not much for me to be interested in. Nobody's called me, so
yeah.
I've heard.
Just don't go to Buffalo, man. Just don't do it. That place is a disaster.
Lots of rumors flying around.
So, Greg, tell us about Zach Jones. Was that something? I know he's a sophomore. The Rangers are, doing pretty well on defense. Was that something that, he came to you and was like, "What do you think, coach?" Or his agent and you guys all got together? He did he scored a goal, right? For a goal in his first game, or no, he didn't score? That was someone else.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was the process on that? Heading to the NHL, did you talk with him before he went?
Yeah, this was the process. Zach, I think it's gonna take you. I think you should be here 3 years. I agree with you, coach. Mr. Jones, I think your son needs to be here 3 years. I agree with you, coach. And then he was so good in the Frozen Four. All that went out the window. So he had already leased the place for his junior year. And I believe him. He had every intention. But the goal he scored against Duluth, I think it was the first goal of the game we scored in the power play. He's a really gifted player. I thought he needed another year to mature physically and emotionally because he's not the strongest kid. He's come a long way in 2 years, but his skill sets is NHL all day long. I just thought he needed another year to be ready to step in and play a full season. It'll be interesting. It's tough when they go from college to having to play 82 games. Rangers have good depth on the back, and they're dealing with some injuries there at the end of the year, so it opened up some space for him. But he's eventually going to be a really good NHL player.
Yeah, and it seems like you guys get a lot of really top end, cream of the crop defensemen. Is that something you guys go out and look for? Are you a defensive oriented coach, or?
Well, we were the second best defensive team in the country, and I don't consider myself a defensive-minded coach. I consider myself, you play the game the right way. So when you have the puck, you be really creative and use your skill. When you don't have the puck, you work your nuts off to work to get it back. And we have, nobody nobody was recruiting Zach Jones except us. Nobody. And Mark Del Geisel didn't get drafted until after he came to UMass. Cale Makar was a star. Mario Ferraro was a star before he got to us. Jake McLaughlin, nobody knew who he was. So we've gotten good players, but we've done a good job developing them. Matt Kessel played with Zach Jones. Matt Kessel, for 2 years in a row, has led the country in goals by defensemen. He didn't know how to score a goal in the USHL. Like everybody told us, oh, he's just a big shutdown D. He's 6'3". He's a goddamn gigantic horse. He's strong as hell. Shoots the puck a ton, and he scored 7 goals as a freshman and 10 goals as a sophomore in a shortened pandemic season. So he led the country in scoring by defensemen. And I don't know if he ever scored a goal in the USHL. So it's a combination, and we get good kids. We play a system where our defensemen really add a lot to our offense. We always have. I thought we had the best back end in the country, and I think at the college level, if you have the best back end, you're probably the best team, one of the best teams in the country. When we lost to Duluth 2 years ago in the finals, their back end was lights out. I think 3 or 4 of them are in, NHL signed players. So to me, you got to have a really good defenseman who can defend, and make your offense go too.
Yeah, huge shout out to your scouting team and yourself for putting that all together. It's huge. Nice. So you announced your captains for next year, right? You got you do that already? Is that what you guys do? Got those guys right there. Talk a little bit about Colin and Bobby and Matthew.
Well, I just talked about Kessel. He's the defenseman.
He's that big son of a bitch horse, huh?
Yeah, gigantic. The other guy, 26, is a hard-nosed defenseman. He got to UMass. He couldn't skate backwards. We didn't recruit him. I didn't know if he'd be able to play. Everybody told us that he's the highest character kid you'll ever coach, and he is. Unbelievable kid. He's a kid, eats pucks. He plays with a smile. He runs around hitting people and just smiling the whole time. And then the guy in the middle is probably the smallest guy I've ever coached in college. He's about 5'7", and he was first team All-American last year. He led us in scoring. Gutsiest, nutsiest kid I ever coached, and unbelievable. He'll be an unbelievable captain, and then he'll sign an NHL contract. So that's really good leadership out of those 3 kids right there.
Nice.
Outlook looks good. So you have to say. Hold on, so you have to say hello to Coach Cannell if you see him on campus at some point. Tell him Morley said hello. I haven't talked to that guy in a while. It's been like 10 years since I've been to Amherst, and I got to get back up there.
Nice.
Well, one more thing, Greg, before we let you go.
Pretty close.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Oh, nice. I have to ask you about this pitcher, and you probably never had it before as a player, but as a coach, you got this. How'd that feel? That was Brown, right?
Yeah. The worst college drink in the country. It's a cold, damp, no fans. I think I was talking to another kid on the bench. Soft backhanded, thank God. Like it's not like that was a 100 slap shot. He just
thank God
into my it just hit me above my eye here, and I just dropped down. It's like, God damn it! And I was like, this is embarrassing. And I had to walk across the ice to go get stitched up. But I was back on the bench.
There we go.
The rest of the game, and then I think the picture's worse than the damage actually was.
But as a player, you never got anything, right? Hit in the face or.
I got stitches everywhere, but nothing like that.
Nice,
I wear a cage most of the time.
That's right.
What's the difference between when you were at St. Lawrence playing as a college hockey player and the kids that you coach today? How much does the game change as far as that time period?
Training, the commitment to training. We had a kid come in every day, with McDonald's and eat McDonald's before we would go practice for 2 hours. And, kid just don't do that.
One of the Lappin brothers. Did you play with the Lappins? No.
I played with the latter Lappins. Pete and Chris.
Cool. I could see them eating McDonald's or something like that.
All right, Coach, man, it's been awesome talking to you.
Wait, before we let him go, let's see that trophy once more.
Well, we're not leaving until I get to ask some questions.
Oh,
okay,
God.
You can ask some questions. I like it. Look at that. That's awesome.
We didn't ask him anything about playoffs either here.
Why aren't you guys holding this from it's not Dave's anymore. What is it? What's Dave's
stadium?
Part? The stadium. Why aren't you at the stadium doing this show or at the Hoot Owl or something?
I know, right? We should. So all of us are gone. Pete and myself are in Raleigh, and Mark down there is in Florida, South Florida. So we can't get pizza anymore. We're kind of upset.
All right.
Sergi's.
I thought at least one of you lived in Canton, so I guess does Hito live in
Derek
Canton?
Hito's in Canton still.
Yeah, he too still in Canton.
All right, here's my next question. How many of you played on the state champion high school hockey team?
Yeah,
all of us.
All
three, yeah.
All right, so that's kind of the basis for this show was. And do you know what I guess you know this, but the original Blue Line Club, like what that was?
Yeah, that's what we named it after, right outside of Appleton.
Yeah.
That's what I figured. I just needed to double check on that.
Yeah,
Yes.
we weren't allowed to drink there until
18.
18, maybe.
18. Who was determining that? Who was the bouncer of that?
Zippy Zulu.
Nobody was.
Zippy. Yeah.
Ralphie Newvine, maybe.
Yeah, Ralphie probably.
Ralphie.
Well, we
All
really
right.
appreciate you coming on, Greg. Thank you so much, and we'll be watching you. We'll get you on again after the season, halfway through or something.
All right. I look forward to it.
All right, Greg. Thanks.
All right, man.
See you guys.
See ya. All right, boys. Good podcast with Coach Greg Carvel from the UMass Minutemen. You gotta love UMass, boys. Got the garb on tonight. Happened to, if I can get it on camera here. But awesome to have him on the show. Obviously, Coach of the Year twice in the last 4 years. I think that's a pretty big feat. I don't know if there's any other coaches that have done that in 4 years.
2 times spent for Penrose. Not
You
bad.
can Google that if you want.
Yeah, right. No, that's huge. I mean, I can actually see Carvey just the way his mannerisms and stuff, just the way he is. That he could be a really good coach. You have to, once he steps on that ice, it's kind of like Brownie was for us. We were all fucking around and shooting pucks. We got Danny Frank commenting here on us too. He was shooting pucks and we were all fucking off. But once Brownie stepped on the ice, we knew it was business. And I can see Greg doing that. And the culture that he's producing at UMass is just unbelievable. I mean,
Clearly effective.
92, 75, and 10 is his record. He's fourth on the top 10 winningest seasons in the last 5 years. So that's huge. They won the national championship, obviously, this year. They lost in 2019 to Minnesota Duluth. So he's been to the national championship twice in the last 5 years. New coach, Coach Cale McCarr. Like he said, I was actually pretty impressed. He was kind of upset when I asked him a question about getting the cream of the crop and getting the top. And he's like, no. We don't get the cream of the crop. Some kids can't even skate backwards. We're putting this culture, putting them through training, and then they're turning out to be players. And I was like, yeah, that's true. Except Cale McCarr. I guess the reason I said that was because of Cale McCarr. But
Look, the reality is not every kid on the team is going to be a superstar, right? So he has to bring the lower end talent up to his superstars that he is getting. It's undeniable.
Yeah, I mean, if you win the national championship, look at Alabama in football. There's a reason that they're good every year because kids want to win. Kids want to go there. And when Coach Saban goes to recruit them, they know they have a shot at winning a title. UMass has been there 2 of the last 4 years. Their recruiting status just went up huge. It makes it a lot easier to try to convince a kid to come in. And when a kid is getting recruited, like we got recruited to play sports in college, you're not looking at like the top 50 teams in the country. You're looking at the top 10. Who was the last top 10 last year? I want to go to one of those schools. I don't want to go to a school that's top 50. You know what I mean? So it's huge for him.
Yeah, I mean, it just falls in. They fall into your lap, right? You don't have to spend money. You don't have to travel to friggin' cold Glacier Bay, Ontario, and
they're calling you.
They're calling.
Can I come?
You don't have to go way up into Canada where there's just one caution light and the friggin' snow's got it freezed over.
In Canada?
Yeah, that too. But great podcast. Our first. We got it was our first trophy, but there's going to be plenty of more. I think we're going to get an AHL Calder Cup, and then we'll get.
We're not in any hurry. We're not racing anybody. We'll make
Stanley Cup
for whatever reason we want.
Let's do a quick commercial break. Annie up, get a few more cups, drain the old anacondas, and we'll talk some NHL.
Yes, sir.
Rob, don't fall asleep. Wake up.
We get the question a lot of what surface can I use the hockey wraparound on? You can use it on any surface from smooth concrete to the roughest asphalt. Today, we'll be shooting on asphalt in my driveway. All right, a few common questions we get asked about wraparound while Casey's shooting. Number one, wraparounds work on both left and right-handed stick. It's 1 unit for each. 2, the size of your stick. Whether you're youth, intermediate, or senior, the wraparound will cut down to the length of your stick so that you can use it no matter what. Another thing about the wraparound is we've completely covered the toe of the stick so that you can practice your toe drags and other things while you're outside. One of the best features about the wraparound is that it eliminates the small spaces that you may have with a shooting board or other training tools. Literally, the entire earth is your surface to play on. Go.
Okay, alrighty. Welcome back, boys. Here we go. Little NHL news to talk about.
Obviously, that last 27 minutes of speaking with Coach Carvel is just kind of rolling in, and to think about the environment that he's creating, it actually sounds like a lot of fun to be on, right? Remember skating on Mondays, you knew you weren't going to have pucks, but, in some sick, deranged way, skating and pushing 2 goalposts around the rink until you threw up was
pulling one of your players, and then sometimes you'd get linked up with like Danny Frank or something.
A complete heavy mismatch.
Army crawl. I remember the Army crawl.
We used to. All of us are talking about our high school hockey days, and like Greg was saying, we won state championships, but our coach was so every Monday was no pucks. So all we did was skate, and then we skated, and then at the end we skated. And he was the same though, but
I think I lost seven games in 3 years.
Yeah. What do you guys think about these playoffs here? We got Boston and Washington is in OT, tied 2-2. What do you guys think about the Boston Cap series? I'm getting kind of bored. I guess it's all right watching Tom Wilson and the Pasternak and St. Patrice, but
the perfection line.
Perfection.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really care for too much for either of those teams, but Boston, if they win this series, then they've totally flipped around the second half of their season, because they were like pushing not making the playoffs there for a couple of weeks towards the end of the season. So if they can get out of this with a win versus the Capitals after the slow end of the season, I think that's a huge win for them.
Yeah, that'll turn everything around, especially playing Chara and McAvoy almost had a goal right there. Oh, Boston's putting on the pressure, but yeah, it just hasn't been appealing to me at all. I'm really, really excited about. I don't know what. I guess because we're from upstate New York, up near Canada, I'm really excited about that Toronto-Montreal series that's starting tomorrow. It's actually.
Why are they so late? Why are they starting like a week later than everybody else?
They just had some makeup games to play.
Fucking Canucks.
Yeah. But it's the two oldest teams in the NHL, the Montreal Canadiens and the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they actually played the first Stanley Cup playoff game in 1918 was against the Maple Leafs and the Canadiens. So it's the two oldest teams in the NHL set to face each other again in the postseason for the first time since 1979. So it's pretty cool. It's I don't know. Here's a picture of who was it? George Armstrong in '67 when they won in Game 6 of beating the Montreal Canadiens. So I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. Look at the
seats up there.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Mark. Look at the seats back there, guys. Like,
let's put a little like triangle in the corner, really steep, and see if we can get some drunks to fall on the ice.
Look at that place, though. Like, that's has anyone been to the old Forum, Maple Leafs?
No,
me neither.
I played in the new place when I used to play up there, but not.
Yeah, look at that. That's unreal. But yeah, so I'm excited for that. Obviously, all of us have been watching the Wild in Vegas, but kind of keeping an eye on everything.
I mean, the other series that's been pretty good is the Penguins and the Islanders. That's been a battle. I don't know if I caught a little bit of that the other night before the mini game. That's been a pretty good series, man. Islanders are holding their own, and they're like one of those teams that just never quit. They can't seem to make it to the final round of the playoffs, but they're in it every year for the last few years. So.
And Pittsburgh has Malkin out. Malkin hasn't played yet, so supposedly he's going to play tomorrow. It's day to day, but he hasn't been playing, so you can add that into the equation. Malkin's one of the toughest guys to knock the puck off in the league. I would have to say, the big fucking frame that he has, but. I've been Rob and I are down here in Carolina watching the Hurricanes and the Preds. I don't know what we got here for scores. Let me check. 1-0 Hurricanes right now at the end of the second. So it's big down here in Raleigh. Everyone's Hurricane fans. You see banners and shit all over cars. Raleigh's going pretty cool, going pretty crazy. With the Hurricanes. So kind of keeping an eye on that game. Mark, you're down in Florida.
Yeah, man, that's been an awesome series.
I think everyone in the hockey world community is just loving it. Like I think in the text message with you guys, they said something about it's, I don't know if I should say this. I'll probably get a lot of shit, but it's almost like getting to the point of the Battle of Alberta. It's the Battle of Florida. The battle of the Sunrise.
And the reason is because both of these teams have been great all year, and the Hurricanes ended up in first place. But these two teams have been, well, obviously the the Lightning has been good for years now. But
Yeah.
the Panthers have had great success so far this year. They've been playing really well. They got a good goalie. And if you've watched the first couple of games, it's been a fucking battle. And it's
unreal.
The Tampa Bay Lightning power play is ridiculous. Kucherov, Stamkos, Hedman, Braden Point.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, it's like you watch it, you're like, oh, fuck, they got a penalty. Because, I mean, I got the Panthers in the background here. I almost went to game one, but pussied out on the ticket prices. So,
$10,000. You couldn't flip that, you cheap prick.
I was going to, sell a car and go, but anyways, it's been a great series. It's going to be interesting seeing that the Panthers drop 2 at home. What's going to happen in the next couple games over in Tampa Bay? So I don't think that the Panthers have much of a shot unless they can somehow surprise us over in Tampa.
They'll get a win or two.
There's 10,000 fans in the stands. I know in down in Fort Lauderdale. I don't know about Tampa, but I'm sure it's the same. So pretty good crowds. That's going to help Tampa when it gets back over there. It's going to be huge.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure the Panthers will get a win or two. Tampa's going to let their guard down one of the games, especially being at home, sleeping with their wives and got kids and shit like that. It always happens. We know what happens. So they'll get a win, but I don't think Florida's going to come out with the victory of the series. But just watching it and the rivalry that's forming is awesome. Yeah, it's huge.
Florida has some pretty good players now. They've been able to put together a job with who they have, and it's exciting to watch. So we'll have some good hockey. I mean, there's one series. I don't know if you guys caught the Avalanche. They're just kicking the shit out of the Blues, and they're such a good team. I see them in the unless I don't know. I don't know who's going to beat them.
Yeah,
Vegas could probably beat them. Vegas has their number this year. Minnesota does not have their number. So hopefully the fucking Blues win if Minnesota wins, because they've kicked the shit out. The Wild have beat them this year, but there's been a couple games that looked like fucking peewees out there.
Yeah, the Wild just can't beat the Blues. I don't know what it is.
It's weird. Wild has had success against Vegas. Colorado has had success against Minnesota. It's a weird cycle.
It's a crisscross.
Vegas is lost, and Colorado's had success against Vegas. So it's a weird.
Yeah. Weird. So Austin Matthews actually, they came out with a couple awards. Won the Rocket Richard Award. Rocket Richard is top goal scorer of the NHL. There's the trophy right there. So kudos to Matthews. Matthews is just there was a highlight reel of Matthews this year on the NHL website. You guys should go check it out. And it's almost like when you watch the goals that he scores, it's like in slow-mo. Like it's when you get that perfect strand of weed and you take a hit and you're just like,
everything is perfect.
Everything you do is perfect. And this kid's on that level. Like, watch that highlight reel. It's unreal. And not saying that McDavid isn't on that same level, but, obviously David won the Art Ross, the NHL leading scorer. There it is right there. But McDavid and I would say both players are the top, obviously top 2 players in the NHL. So doesn't seem like a big surprise, I guess I should say, on the 2 trophies. So McDavid with the Art Ross right there, and then Austin Matthews with the Rocket Richard trophy. So big news. It's huge. Not big news, but kind of knew it was going to happen, right?
Talk about the one series that we all been following, obviously, is the Wild and the Vegas series. Probably the one that we could speak the most about tonight.
Yeah.
But Vegas has been has been fighting hard. It's a battle of the goalies, man. The Flower was on fucking fire last game. I mean, he was
unreal.
Just saving everything. Talbot's been playing great as well. I mean, both of them have been playing great. But the Wild had so many clutch chances in the last game and couldn't pull out a victory. But Fleury was just snagging at everything, man. He was standing on his head in the first two. I mean, I only caught like probably the first 2 periods. So,
yeah.
And then it was like 12:30 at night and staring at my eye.
Yeah, I mean, that whole series, that whole game, it was just they couldn't put anything past him. I mean, he was doing a split, catching with his glove. The only way they were going to put a puck in the net was on a deflection, which was an OT.
You needed something, even fluke, to change the luck there because you could see it piling up on them every shot they took.
Talbot was making
another save.
Yeah, Talbot was on fire too. I think if the Wild can really overtake the physical battle that Vegas is putting on and really drive those pucks to the net, get that they're shooting a lot from outside the perimeter. This is my opinion. They're shooting a lot from outside the perimeter looking for rebounds, but I think if they just grab that puck and just take it right to the crease and then start pounding, because Fleury can see pucks. I mean, you're not going to get a puck past Fleury unless someone tips it, unless you're blinding him and someone can deflect it.
Well, you got to plug up the neutral zone if you don't.
Yeah, that too. But that's the only way those boys are going to win.
You got that Zuccarello Kaprizov line. I really like to watching those guys. That they just create. They have the Foligno Greenway line, big powerful line that produces a lot of points, but also the shutdown line. They're always playing against the top line of the other team. So they've been doing a great job there. I don't know if I agree with the Zach Parise scratch. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
let's debate this for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm looking at the fourth line, right? So you're saying Zach Parise, first liner last year, can't play on the fourth line this year. You have Sturm, Bonino, and Bukestad on the fourth line. I don't know if those guys are better than Zach Parise. Zach Parise, if you watch him play, a lot of people don't like signed a 13-year deal with Suter.
13 years? Is that true? No.
So he hustles his balls off, and he gets those goals in the crease, and that's where he makes his money, battling the crease, getting the dirty goals, garbage goals. I think they got to fucking give him a shot. He's an experienced player, has experience in the playoffs. I think you got to get him back in the lineup at some point.
Yeah, let's say there's an issue with a player in the GM. Who knows? Let's just say that is a possibility. Still, as a GM, to your point, Mark, you got to win, right? Let's say they dislike each other. You still got to win, and to Mark's point, you're telling me Zach Parise doesn't crack a fourth line. So something's going on there a little deeper than most of us know, because Zach Parise, he was on the power play, wasn't he, for most of the regular season, at least the second power play. So I just don't know how, if I'm the GM and let's say I dislike him, I'm still going to put him in the lineup on the fourth line. I mean, we're paying him millions of dollars to I'm with you, Mark. I'm with you 100%. I don't think they should be putting
this isn't like this isn't a fourth line healthy scratch,
regular season
role player guy. This is, your franchise player that you're paying big dollars, and it's in the playoffs and you're sitting him on the bench. I will say, if he does get in the game tomorrow, that you should see him going lights out
Oh yeah.
every time he hits the ice, right? I think they're lighting that fire under his ass, but are they going to put him in the game?
Yeah. Yeah, and there was a thing on Minnesota's Twitter account that he was actually staying after practice with the taxi squad and shooting pucks. He put in that extra 45 minutes with them. So, I mean, he wants to play. He's not a prick and pissed off and breaking his stick after practice. He's out there. Hey, coach, put me in. I'll play whenever you want. Let me know. Not a big fan of Zach playing wise as a player. I'm sure he's a great guy. But I definitely would have him in the lineup in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
I mean, it's the worst feeling being a healthy scratch. I mean, when you have to go up in the stands and watch the game, it's awful. Been there. It's just nothing that any player wants to see when the lineup comes out is that your fucking name's at the bottom on the scratch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's embarrassing because, you might have family that came to watch or, it's just, especially when you've been at his caliber for so long. It's got to be somewhat embarrassing.
Yeah, you might see that he wants to get traded out of there or something. I don't know how that's going to be possible. Take someone that's can ace course one and figure out that, but I don't know how the fuck he's going to do that. But.
Yeah, so go back to that playoff picture real quick. Sorry,
that medical's getting to you. Go ahead.
Can you put up that picture of the playoff bracket real quick, Pat?
Yeah.
All right. So the only thing we haven't talked about is the Oilers and Winnipeg.
There's nothing to talk about.
Nothing to talk about. I'm kind of with you there. It's like, I mean, I like to watch the Oilers because of McDavid and some of their players that they have are pretty fun to watch, but. Winnipeg, I have no interest in watching them.
I have no interest in that series at all. The only reason I would even fathom to watch it is because of Connor McDavid, and hopefully the best player in the NHL can at least make it to the second round. That's all I care about. But besides that, I'll just watch highlights.
Yeah, I'm with you. But that's crazy that Toronto and Canada or the Canadians haven't started their series yet. So what happens when if there's a sweep in the where they wait like 5 days to play?
Yeah, I mean that's another part of this crazy season. It's a great rest break for the players. I'm sure they're needing it with the travel and back-to-back games and every other day playing and traveling. On the other hand, are they going to slow down a bit and not be as have their reflexes top notch playing a team that, didn't have a sweep and getting right back into the action. So who knows? We'll see. See what happens.
I definitely think the West is going to win out on that bracket. I don't see the Leafs beating the Avs, Vegas, or possibly the Wild. We'll see. But I kind of like the West this year as far as that bracket goes. And those three teams have been playing well.
I mean, it's going to be exciting, right? We haven't seen any of the teams play each other besides, the Canadian teams played the Canadian teams, the Central played the Central. So once we get a little deeper and see Toronto, facing off against, the Avs or the Vegas Knights, hopefully, eventually they're playing the Wild, but just any other team than a Canadian team. And then we can see, like Robbie's been saying all year that, they haven't been, they're winning their number one seed in the NHL in the North Division, but if they were playing normal, regular season hockey, would they be fair to win like they are? But we'll see what happens. I'm excited. I think it's a great playoff season for sure.
Yeah, and it's good to see the fans back in the stands.
Yes, yeah.
We're watching the games. You actually got some crowd noise. You got the towels whipping around. It's exciting to see that back in hockey. And I'm sure the players are liking playing in front of
I'm sure.
the fans,
Yeah, for sure.
Especially like if there's like a scrap or something, fans go wild. You know what I mean? Like before it was like just silent. That's never happened before. There's never been a fight when there wasn't people screaming and cheering.
Yeah.
And scoring a goal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you were at an away game when you.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no noise.
Like Carvey was just saying, Greg Carvel, head coach of UMass Amherst, we just had on. He was saying that, and I think Mark brought it up that the NHL actually streams in some noise where college hockey did not. So Greg was saying that. I swear a lot. So that goes around the rink. So when you have fans in the stands and you get a goal and the crowd's going crazy and the siren's going, you get that little step. You get a little, your strides a little bit faster for sure, especially home rinks. So, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Been a good podcast, boys. You want to
boys.
get anything else in before we let her wrap up here?
Nope, that's it. We'll get podcast on here soon. We haven't had Jordan Greenway on in a while, so maybe we'll bring him on here in a week or two after they beat next week after they beat the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yes, sir. All right, boys. Another great podcast. We had head coach, like Pat said, head coach of the UMass Minutemen winning the national championship in NCAAs this year. Huge feat. He's a Canton guy from our hometown. Another great story of a hockey player hockey person out of our hometown, which it seems like we just keep connecting with other Canton people throughout this hockey community. So we'll probably keep getting on these Canton guys and these, other people that are connected to St. Lawrence or whatever it is. So just keep watching our podcasts and we'll have great guests on and you can catch all of our past podcasts on our website or YouTube channel. Check out our YouTube channel. You can check out all of our videos and stuff too. So, all right, boys, until next time, keep your stick on the ice.
To ya.
Oh, doctor.
Meow.
Keep your head up.